Good evening, everyone, and thank you for joining us on A World Awakening. I have a very special guest tonight. I rarely bring someone on without knowing them particularly well, and yet I have been a follower and an admirer of Echo Bodine for more than a decade, and I've never had the chance to meet her in person. We haven't been able to talk on the phone. You know, my life's been crazy. I'm up in Georgia right now using my sister's computer because that's a long story, too long. But trust me when I tell you, fingers crossed, everybody say a prayer for my charging cord. Okay, because you know my house got struck by lightning in Florida last week, and now my computer won't charge, but it still runs, and I pray, just a new cord to resolve that situation. So I'm on my sister's Mac, and I'm not a Mac head, and so I'm a little afraid, but I think it's going to be okay. It's been a very strange week. I came back to Georgia a few days ago to help my sister and my mom out while my sister had some surgery she needed done and was not going to be in a position to take care of mom. So that's why I am here with my little dinky dog, Peanut. I don't know where she is. She'll come around. You'll see her. So you know that you all know me well enough to know that I'm sometimes contrary in the way that I think about things, especially in the broader big picture of a world awakening to a new age of hopefully spiritual realization of oneness. And so I was in 3D conflict yesterday because the Queen of England died, and she was the queen 10 years longer than I've been alive. She's the only Queen of England I've ever known. And I cried. And I am not a royalist. I'm not. I think that the monarchy is obsolete. I think that they are a hoarder of countless millions and millions of dollars that the people of the UK and all over the world have provided them with over more than 1,000 years, and that this is an obsolete, archaic institution, and that the only way for there to be some fairness is to disperse some of this incredible wealth that has been accumulated over countless generations so that everybody in England can live well, and everybody in the world that they've had control over forever can do better. And so, you know, I'm not a royalist, and yet the Queen died and I cried. So, you know, there's no explaining the there's no explaining the ups and downs and ins and outs of my emotional makeup. But I'm also a traditionalist, and I believe in, I love all the pomp and the circumstance and the pageantry. And I got up at 4 o'clock in the morning to watch Princess Diana marry the Prince of Wales. And, you know, and that was a bajillion years ago. And, you know, there's just no explaining it. There's no explaining it. You know, maybe you can love everything at once and you can disapprove of everything at once. And that's part of our awakening, perhaps. But there it is. So we've been watching the news and wishing the new king well. Not quite sure what they do exactly other than hoard money. But, you know, whatever, you know, wishing them well. It's just a terrible loss for them. Of course it is. I know how I would feel if it was my mother. So, you know, with that said, may she rest in peace. And, you know, let's get on with the show. I have a lot to discuss with this very fine, lovely lady that's coming on tonight. And I want her to have the best possible reception. So everybody that's sitting in front of their computer or their TV that's watching The World Awakening tonight, please give Echo Bodine a round of applause and welcome her to the show.
You are adorable. Hi, everybody.
Well, apparently I'm confused, you know, because it's like, no, you people shouldn't do that, but oh my God, you know.
I know.
You know, there's just something about, oh, I forgot to I forgot to put on my ring for you. I have to put my moon ring
Oh,
on that I just
please
got in
do.
Scotland. No, I
Please
just got
do.
this in Scotland like three,
Oh,
4 weeks ago.
oh,
Sterling silver from Stirling, Scotland. Is that not? Well, I can't even.
there you go. Oh
Isn't that
my,
beautiful? Yeah, yeah. I
gorgeous.
I wanted to put it on. It's the only thing I bought myself in Scotland, and then I spent. I can't even discuss how much money bringing. I really can't talk about it because if I say it out loud, oh, see, there are my people, and here they are,
I
and
got
here
it.
they are.
Here they are.
Yep,
Oh,
they're
hey,
wonderful.
why were you in Scotland?
I was over there doing a paranormal tour of all the coolest, most haunted locations in the entire country. Thank you, Greta.
Hi,
Well,
Greta.
I know that's our girl, huh? She's
Yeah.
our girl. Oh my God, I'm so crazy about her. It's ridiculous. She runs my life.
Does she?
Runs my life, and thank God because someone's got to do it.
Yeah, I get
Someone's
it.
just got to.
I get it.
And
Totally.
so I have like the best choice possible. Hello, Kathy, my darlings, and Jonathan from Rhode Island. My
Cool.
beautiful. We have fans all over the world, and I'm so thrilled to be able to share you with all of
You.
them.
Gosh,
It
so
is.
sweet.
It's
Oh,
wonderful. It's just wonderful and delightful, and I'm so pleased to meet you. Hello, Christine. It's been a long time. I've wanted to. My friend Margie Mirsky is the one that turned me on to you and your work about a decade ago.
okay.
And
Cool.
she's one of my SEO administrators, takes care of all things computer from Pennsylvania now. But she
Oh,
can't buy me a new charge cord. So I'm going to have to do that myself.
God.
Um, but she told me, she said, this woman is remarkable and she's a powerhouse.
Honey, this is all shocking to me, honestly. You know, when Greta reached out to me, like what, a week ago, and asked me if I'd like to be on your show, I said, well, I mean, I thought, well, yeah, I mean, she won't even know who I am. I mean, she doesn't know who I am.
I know exactly
I
who
mean,
you are.
you know what? You're just blowing my mind, just sitting here listening, going, what? What? So,
I am a radical feminist and
okay,
have always been so,
okay,
and have taken it upon myself to promote. Now that I have a platform and some semblance of notoriety,
yeah,
taken it upon myself to uplift every woman in my sphere whom I admire
yeah, good.
and bring them on my show. I would say about 80% of my guests are women.
Okay, cool.
And we're the ones that, we're the foot soldiers. We're the ones that do the legwork. We're the ones that do
Yeah,
the heavy lifting a lot of time
I know.
in this field and pretty much every other,
Yep.
and are also the ones that go unacknowledged and dismissed and don't quite get the credit that we deserve. And I think that's one of the reasons that I admired the Queen of England so much, because she was
No.
so stoic and so gracious and such a lady, which I am not. I have a filthy mouth. I
Oh,
mean, I do.
oh,
I can't help it. But I'll bet you she did behind closed doors too. Um,
unfortunately, it's not behind closed doors. I mean, people are kind of shocked, like, oh my God. And I
did
just
she
say, I was raised by a sailor. That's how
There
it is.
there you go. Well, on this show, I made sure that I had a platform for this show where we control all content and nothing you say
Nice,
whatever comes to your
nice,
mind.
nice,
There's
nice.
no editing allowed. It's
Wow,
not.
cool.
Um, and that's part of the reason why I love doing the show so much, because we get to be real. We get to be pure of heart. We get to cry if we want. We can laugh too loud.
Yep.
You might see an occasional shadow figure or a little blip of spaceship going over my shoulder.
Yeah, fine, fine.
Yeah, or yours. Yes. And
Yes,
so,
I'll feel right at home, honey.
yes, you
Right
will
at
feel
home. Right
absolutely
at home.
right at home. And your home is lovely, by the way.
Thank you.
Absolutely
Thank
beautiful,
you. Thank you.
warm and welcoming.
Thank you. Oh my
So
gosh.
for those of you that those of for those of our viewers has happens a lot to us females during our careers. Ever get credit for what we do?
Yeah.
Yes, Kathy, this is very true. But we've broken that mold on this show.
Yeah. I think we're breaking it more and more all the time.
All the time, because we have to.
Yeah,
and eventually we will take over the world, because that's pretty much, as far as I'm concerned, the only way to save it. So I really do. I think that good, kind-hearted, nurturing, protective women need to take control of the planet, because, not all of them, but, there's a whole lot of maniacal people out there who are male, who have egos that are bigger than their mansions, and and their gilded toilets. And, so consequently what happens is they get too big for their britches and start believing their own lies.
Yeah.
And so, there's that. Okay, hold on. I'm going to undoubtedly someone will call me during the show. Undoubtedly someone will. So I'm going to turn my sound off, which you can tell I'm a little befuddled. I had more to do than I had time to do it in today. Was one of those things. Okay, so great. So what I would like for you to do is to introduce people, rather than me just spouting on and on about everything that I do know about you. Share your story with our viewers. And when you're ready to talk about books, Bill has, things loaded into the computer and also he's going to put your website down on the bottom of the tracker. So people will be able to, there it is. Easy to remember, folks.
Good. Cool.
Okay. So it's your show, my darling. Let's talk about what you want to talk about.
Well, should I talk about, it's so weird. I have a, what's it called? Oh God. I can't think of it, honey. Anyway. Motion detector. Thank you. Motion detector inside my garage, and all the doors are closed, and the lights just went on inside the garage.
I blame myself for this.
Yes, I'm going to blame you too. It's Andrea's fault, because
it happens a lot.
Why you should be on lights? What? That is so strange. Okay. Anyway,
it's just what my sister calls my little friends.
Oh, you're
coming
little
to see
friends.
you.
I see.
Yeah, and I have to remind her they're not that little, first and foremost. And she told me once when I was, crazy energy. Yes, I told you, Greta. I told you this was going to happen. My sister said when they were going up, taking so-called civilians up into space, I said, I'd go up there in a heartbeat. And she says, you're nuts. She said, you'd be on the one that blows up. I'm like, no, it wouldn't. You don't understand. I have my own security detail. And she says, you just want to go up there and see your little friends. And I said, first of all, they're not that little. And second of all, I don't have to go to them. They come to me. And that was the end of that conversation. She just shook her head, and she's like, I'm not even going there with you.
I'm sure. Oh, yes. I have a sister, and she's always shaking her head like, oh, my God. Don't tell me another one of your stories. Yeah. Yep. I get it, honey. Well, I don't know where to start. I mean, should I start at the beginning, or should I just talk about the book, or, gosh.
Well, it was from the beginning. And first we were born, but everything that you evolved into created those, it created the book.
Yeah, it did.
So you share how to live a happily ever after life, which is a brilliant title. And if you hadn't used it, I probably would have at some point.
You know what, honey? So my publisher, when I turned the book in, the title I had on it was How to Protect Yourself from Becoming a Ghost. And he called me on the phone and said, Echo, Stuart, he says, I got a much better title for you. How to Live a Happily Ever After Life. And I was like, oh my God, Greg, what a perfect title. So
I know Greg. He's great. He's a perfect guy.
Yes, he is.
He is.
So, yeah, he came up with that title, and a lot of people love it. So I'm glad we didn't go with the old title. But um, okay, so all right, let's jump back to 1965, and um, all right, and I don't want to go into all the detail, but just tell the main parts. Okay, so normal dysfunctional family like everybody else,
Yeah.
sitting around the dinner table. Okay, I was 17 years old. My 14-year-old brother, every night after dinner, he would go downstairs and practice it on his drum set because he was taking lessons how to play the drums. Went downstairs, he's just kind of clanking away, and all of a sudden, really nice drumming music comes from the den. And we all stopped talking and looked at our dad, and he said, I don't know, it must be the record I bought him. Okay. And he maybe played for maybe 10 more seconds, and he came flying up the stairs. And he said, did you hear it? Did you hear it? Did you hear it? And we said, yeah, what was it? And he said, a white figure floated through the door across the room, put its hands on top of my brother's hands. He said, I tried to drop my sticks. I couldn't. He said, I had my eyes closed and I could still see him. And he said, and he's the one that played that music. And I mean, my brother was really upset. And so we're like, what? And so, okay, so back then, 1965, you had to know somebody who went to a psychic. That's how you found psychics back then. They weren't advertised. And well, my mom was in a prayer group at the time, and one of the ladies in the prayer group had mentioned she had been to a psychic. So mom called her and said, could I have the number of that psychic? Sure. Her name was Eve Olson, and she was from England. Oh, she was just a little bitty thing. And so mom called her. She said, hi, my name is Bodine. And she said, we just had an unusual experience in our family. And she said, yes, Mrs. Bodine, I've been expecting your phone call. She says, your son just met his guardian angel, Dr. Fitzgerald. And when he was living on Earth, in one of his lifetimes, he was a drummer. She says, this happened for a very important reason. I need to see you and your oldest daughter for a reading. And mom said, yeah, okay, I'll get back to you on that. And she hung up the phone, and she turns to us and tells us what this sweet lady had just said. And we're like, what? Spirit guide? He's a doctor? What does she mean he played the drums in one of his life? What is all this? And oh my God, honey, that night I started sleeping with my lights on because I thought, what if I have a spirit guide? What if he comes and talks to me? I mean, I was so freaked out. All right. So we were, of course, curious. So we made an appointment and we went and saw Mrs. Olson. And so mom goes in to see her first. And honest to God, girl, I was a nervous wreck. So I didn't know what to expect with psychics. I think the only kind of anything resembling a psychic was this old witch in the Wolfman movies. Okay, so I'm expecting her to look like somebody who lives in a tree, right? And she answers the door. She's the sweetest little thing. And she says to me, Echo, you sit over here with Mr. Olson and watch TV. Honest to God, girl, I sat there like a statue. I was scared to death. I thought, oh God, he's reading my mind. He knows what I'm thinking. And I mean, at 17, did I have secrets? I don't even know, but I was sure he knew everything about me. And so I didn't even move a muscle. And then my mom came out of the room and she went like that. And Mrs. Olson says, okay, Echo, it's your turn. So I go in there, and it's just a little room like the size of a walk-in closet these days. And I mean, this is a riot. So I'm sitting there again, I'm a nervous wreck, and there's a glass of water sitting on this little table. So I go to grab the water, and she says, no, dearie, don't drink the water. That's for the spirits. So Andrea, no lie, the whole time she's giving me this reading, I'm watching the glass waiting to see the water go down because I don't understand how our spirit's going to drink this water. Okay. Well, she proceeds to tell me that I was born with all 4 of the psychic abilities and with the gift of healing. And she said, she says, you have a lot of karma to work through first, but when you get a little older, you're going to be a well-known psychic. You're going to teach people how to develop their psychic abilities. You're going to be on radio and TV. You're going to write many books. And I'm listening to this lady and I'm thinking, she obviously is a fraud because I don't have any of this stuff. And so then she said, now your father's at home with a migraine headache, which he was. And she said, I have 2 things to tell you about the gift of healing. 1, always use white hankies underneath your hands when you're channeling healing. And 2, don't ever forget it's God that heals people. You're just a channel. And she said, and the rest you'll have to learn on your own. Okay, so I said to her, okay, 2 things. I said, 1, I don't have any of this stuff that you're talking about. And 2, I don't want any of the stuff you're talking about.
More importantly, yeah.
I said, I just want to live a normal life. And she said, you can do that in your next life. But in this lifetime, this is what you're here to do. Okay. Then she told Mom that she would be a well-known psychic, that my baby brother, Michael, would be a well-known psychic. He would write books. He would be on radio and TV. And that my sister Nikki would come into her gifts in her mid-40s, and that our other brother would have nothing to do with any of this. Okay. So the whole way home, Mom and I are going, why do we have to do this weird stuff? Why? And honey, we couldn't figure it out. But she did say that a teacher would come along. She said, a teacher will be calling you sometime in the next 6 weeks, and she will teach you how to develop your abilities. Okay. So we get home. Oh my God. And so my dad, who wasn't really happy about us going to the psychic in the first place.
Yeah.
So just visualize 6'4.5" German man laying in bed with a migraine headache. He's got this rag on his head. And I go up there and I said, Dad, the psychic said that I was born with a gift of healing. So could I put some hankies on your face and, just, I don't know, put my hands on your head? And he said, just don't hurt my head. And I said, okay. And so my mom, honest to God, she was standing so close to me. And so I take out his hankies, I put them on his head, and I put my hands on his head. And all of a sudden, Andrea, they heated up like little heating pads. And I just thought, what the hell? And I looked at my mom. I said, they're heating up like heating pads. And so she's watching, I'm watching. And then they started to tremble a little bit. And I said, no, they're shaking. And she's like, and so then everything stopped. Everything stopped. They cooled off. The shaking stopped. Took my hands off. And my dad said, well, I'll be damned if my headache isn't gone. So I was so freaked out. And so I went to, okay, you're going to get a kick out of this. Honey, honest to God, I went to bed that night and I thought, oh my God, there was Jesus, and then Oral Roberts, and now me. And oh my gosh, I have to go heal everybody. And oh my gosh, I better quit school. I think they wear robes. I better stop swearing.
Don't ever stop swearing.
I should probably stop smoking cigarettes.
No. That's nutritious and delicious. Don't give that up.
So, honey, I had the whole thing. I thought, well, I better go to India because I think there's a lot of people in India that I'm supposed to touch. And honest to God, I worked myself into such a state that night and tried to figure out the whole deal. So what Mom and I did, because we were going to be famous psychics one day, we went down to the local New Age bookstore, which was in the sleaziest part of downtown Minneapolis.
Of course.
And we bought about $100 worth of incense because we figured, I think those psychics, I think they burn incense. And so we got incense. And then we went and got a Ouija board. And we were like, okay, we're ready. And honey, we didn't have a clue what we were doing. Not a clue.
Okay.
And then, oh God. And then all kinds of craziness started happening around our house. And, you know, my little 8-year-old brother is talking about colors around people and, oh, he can see spirits. And it's like, ah. And I mean, that's, oh my God, my poor dad. Oh. Anyway, okay. Well, a lady called us out of the blue, introduced herself. Her name was Bertie Torgerson. She said, she's a spiritualist minister here in the Twin Cities, and her spirit guides gave her the names of 8 different people, and she's supposed to teach us how to develop our psychic abilities. And she gave us her address, and she said, I expect to see you in class a week from Thursday, and she hung up the phone. So Mom came and told me, and I said, Mom, I am so freaked out about all of this stuff. And oh God, honey, we had incense going 24 hours a day, okay? We just thought that's what you're supposed to do. So we did go. And because Mom said, well, let's just go once and we'll just see what it's like. Well, you know what? When she started to explain what psychic abilities were, like, well, clairvoyance is you get a picture, a vision in your mind, and then it comes true. I thought, well, yeah, but everybody does that. And then she said, and then when these thoughts come in, but they're not really your thoughts and they're thoughts of guidance, that's clairaudience. And I thought, everybody does that. We all do that. And then she talked about clairsentience, being very sensitive to everything, sensing everything. And then she talked about clairgustance, which she said was the gift of smell, where, you know, you can smell the deceased. They bring a smell with them, blah, blah, blah. So I just thought, well, everybody does this stuff. This is nothing different. And then the next,
I've been there. Yeah.
I know. So the next morning when I went to school, I told my girlfriends about class. And I said, do you guys get pictures that come true? And they looked at me like I was talking French. And then I said, well, come on, you guys, do you get those thoughts in your mind that, you know, they just come in out of nowhere, but they're guidance? Again, they looked at me like I was speaking French. Well, do you ever get that smell, you know, like when your grandpa visits and, you know, it smells like again, the dead stare. And I thought,
they got nothing for you, Echo. Nothing.
No. And honey, that's when I realized, oh, maybe I do have this stuff.
And maybe you are different, and maybe there is something special. I think that everybody has some level of innate ability. I think that comes with who we are and our being, but the vast majority of people aren't courageous enough to even begin to explore it because it is freaky.
Yeah.
It is so different, and it takes a major adjustment. And you got hit with yours relatively young in life, so I can understand your reticence about it. Sure.
Yeah, I was scared. I was really, you know, just the whole idea of seeing spirits, and I have spirit guides, and what are they doing? When are they around me? I mean, the whole world that Bertie taught us scared the heck out of me. Even, I remember when she talked about reincarnation, I was like, oh, okay, that's it. I'm leaving this class. I'm a good Presbyterian, for God's sakes. We don't believe this stuff. And but you know what? When I started, I mean, I practiced on people for a long time before I came out of the closet. And I
kind of ironic that you went into a closet to discover you had the gifts and had to come out to bring it into the world.
Yeah, honey, I had to. I mean, I went on to college for 3 years. I was a barber for 4 years. I was a secretary. I was a chemical dependency counselor for about 5 minutes. and realized when I was sitting in a group with all these women and I'm getting pictures and I'm hearing stuff on every one of them, I thought, okay, I can't do this. I can't do this. And I remember I went to the head of the halfway house and I said, I'm sorry, I can't do this. And that was the last, nope, I was done. I was not going to do that work anymore. And then I just kept, slowly, I'd do other jobs, but then somebody would call about, my stepson went over a cliff, landed on his head. He's in a coma. Would you please channel healing to him? And so, I would go and do that kind of thing on my lunch break. But again, I was very careful about who I told. And,
Sure.
you know exactly what it's like.
Well, it's almost impossible to live a quote unquote normal life when you are a paranormal person.
I know. But I tried. I really tried.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I gave it my best shot too for a very long time.
Okay.
For decades.
Okay.
That I just wandered around like, why am I here? What am I doing? Why does this place feel so foreign to me? What I must have a greater purpose than what I'm doing.
Yep.
Life's not all about being a successful entrepreneur. There's more. There's way more to it. And it took me, I didn't even start writing my books until I was 48 years old.
You're kidding.
And I have 5 books. Yeah.
Really? So
63 and I have 5 books.
So
and another one in the pipeline right now.
Okay, so up until 48, what did you do?
The short list is what I didn't do. I owned a jewelry store. I owned a restaurant for 10 years. I worked with developmentally disabled adults.
Okay.
And then for 10 years, I worked at a private school for behaviorally challenged adolescent boys.
Okay.
Which was quite the challenge.
I bet.
It was, and yet we saved so many of them. It's amazing that we did. Children that suffered from gross abuse and neglect that could not be managed in a conventional school setting, that came to this, for all intents and purposes, a boarding school, closed campus. And I did that until one day a bell went off in my head, and it was like, the old fashioned alarm clocks.
Yeah.
And it just started ringing and it said, it's time. The time is now. It's time. Now it's time. And I went on the first day of my summer vacation from my very hard job. And I was also a member of the Theater Company of Rhode Island for more than 20 years. So at night, I went and did stage plays and musicals, and I play 7 instruments. I was a professional singer. I had like this whole other alternate personality in life, aside from my profession, which kept my hours full and kept me pretty distracted from what the main mission emerged as.
Yep.
And then I went and got a recipe box and a couple of packages of index cards. And I started writing down everything that I could remember on little index cards in pencil so I could erase any mistakes that I made, and started chronicling the events that happened at my childhood home, where we bought the house in 1970 and lived there until 1980, which the movie The Conjuring is based on, although it bears no resemblance to the actual story, which was much more metaphysical, much more spiritual, much more enlightening, much more than, it was not a horror story. It was a love story with a wicked supernatural twist. And those 3 books opened every doorway. Every gate was unlatched. The universe handed me the key to my own cage, and then said, you had it all along. All you had to do was just open the door. Yeah. 48. I'm a late bloomer. but the timing was actually perfect, Echo, as
Yeah.
it was for you.
Yep.
You had to evolve and
Yeah.
learn and grow
I
and
did.
spiritually ascend
I know.
to do what you do
No.
as as miraculously as you do, because you know and I know that this does not come from us.
No.
It
No.
comes through us, and
Yes.
it comes from source, and you can call that whatever you want,
Most
prime
definitely.
directive, God consciousness, Christ consciousness, call it whatever.
Yep.
I'm a recovering Catholic. I so believe
Oh,
me when I
God.
tell you it's a lifelong endeavor. But guilt, sin, shame, fear. Oh yeah, the four. It takes forever to get over that being instilled
Yes.
into you as a
Yes.
child.
God.
But for me, this isn't about religion at all. This is about the universe, the cosmos, that the glue that holds the molecules together, the ever-present love that exists in the universe, that we are all a product of. Um,
Amen.
and so, yeah, for me, living in an environment like I grew up in was not a curse, but a blessing,
Oh,
because it opened me to everything that's important. And it
okay.
sounds to me like that's precisely what happened to you.
Yeah, honey, it did. Yeah. It's, I wouldn't change any of it really, but if I had to, um, it was just scary to go through it. Yeah, just cause, yeah, it was, oh gosh, all the memories.
Yeah.
Um,
They flood, don't they? They
we do.
absolutely,
Yes.
like, pour through, like, from the cosmos through a sieve into your consciousness.
Yep.
And when you go, they're right there. They're right there, like it happened 2 seconds ago.
Yes. I know, honey.
Because,
I know.
and part of it is traumatic. You know, I, I,
Yeah.
I use the same line in all three of my books. Childhood trauma, the gift that keeps on giving.
Yeah.
It
No.
We have to be broken wide open
Yeah.
for the light to permeate, for
Well,
us to
it's
grow.
permeating.
Yes,
Yes, it
yes.
is.
And
Finally.
what we do, what you do, and I think what I do is probably relatively similar,
Uh-huh.
is that we are healers, and we take the pain of others as though they are giving us a gift, because we
Mhm.
know that it will not stay with us. It will relieve them of their burden,
Yeah.
but it does not become a burden to us.
Mhm.
We're just the conduits. It
Yep.
just flows through us and out, and it is gone and dispersed into the ether.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
it is the most remarkable thing. Uh, my sister, whose house I'm currently inhabiting,
Yeah.
she said, "My house was never haunted until you moved into it." I'm sorry, I can't help it that I travel with an entourage. It's not
Oh,
my fault.
that's
But
funny.
I since moved down to Florida. I'm back visiting right now, but taking care of my girls. But um, the thing that is so remarkable about it is that one of the ways that I discovered that I can heal others is
Mhm.
because my sister um, she was having some heart palpitations and issues in her late 50s, or mid 50s, actually. And uh, we went to a cardiologist who was my mother's cardiologist, who saved her life when
Okay.
she had a heart attack in '08. And he found a blood clot in my sister's leg and said, "This has to come out. We have to immediately handle this immediately, immediately." And so I, of course, went to the hospital with her. And
Uh-huh.
when they did the pre op and they brought her into the room to prepare to go into the surgery, um, I prayed over her and I laid my hands on her.
Okay.
And I put my hands on her leg, the one where the clot was,
Yep. Yep.
and on her heart,
Okay.
and on her head,
Okay.
and held her hands. and I prayed over her.
Okay.
And she was out of it. She was already sedated. She kind of
Oh,
vaguely knew I was there, but not really.
okay.
And when the procedure was over, the doctor called me into his office and he said, Andrea, and he knew me well because he knew me from taking care of my mom.
Yeah.
He said, Andrea, I don't know what to tell you. He said, please understand that we did not do this procedure needlessly. I swear to you, we didn't. But when I got in there, I discovered that your sister has the veins of an 18-year-old, and there are no clots or obstructions anywhere in her circulatory system, period.
And he's apologizing too.
Mhm. Yeah, and I didn't tell him what I did.
Yeah, I get it.
Tell him what I did, but I knew what I did.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
get it. Yeah.
yeah.
Good. I love it. God, I love it. I know. I love all this stuff. Really.
I know, me too. Isn't it inspiring?
Yes.
It's
Yes.
mystical and it's magical. Magic being science we don't yet understand, but it's also inspiring and uplifting.
Yes, it
Because
is.
if it can happen once, it
Yeah.
can happen over and over and
That's
over
right.
again. And echo, is there anything that this world needs more than healing?
Mhm.
Anything. Tell me what else could possibly be at the top
I
of the
know.
list.
I know. Yeah, I agree. I agree. You know, and the angel that works with me, her name is Lily. She said, Echo, you've got, and that's another reason for this book, is she said, you've got to convince people to deal with their stuff when they're there instead
Yeah.
of bringing their baggage back home.
Back and forth and back and forth and back, I mean, really,
Yeah.
if we don't get these issues resolved now,
Yeah.
it took me a long time to understand that we are recycled souls.
Yes.
That recycling is not like a new idea
Yeah.
in human evolution.
Yeah.
And it has nothing to do with a can full of plastic bottles. We are literally going over and over and over again
Yep.
through our patterns of ascension
Yep.
so
Yep.
that we can actually break free of a 3D planet, this place that I like to call Soul School. I even named one of my shows after it,
Mhm.
Soul School, where the test always precedes the lesson. There is no fair and square semblance of sanity to what this 3D world throws at us.
Yeah.
And so there has to be those of us who have been touched by spirit, who
Mhm.
have connections with the galactic family, who operate within the angelic realm,
Mhm.
who have some kindred spirit connection
Mhm.
with all of existence
Mhm.
and tapped into the unified field of consciousness.
Yeah.
It's our job
Yeah.
to bring that
Yeah.
into the world
Yes.
and to educate others and to tell them that we each have our own unique, distinctive, individual path.
Mhm.
It's not vertical, it's horizontal. Nobody is judged against any other individual because we're literally all in this together. And the
Mhm.
only way to evolve is to make sure that there's something to evolve to,
Yeah.
which means there needs to be those who require guidance and support
Mhm.
for
Mhm.
them to learn their lessons
Yeah.
that again open us up to understand what our mission is.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it is all simpatico, it is all correlation and integration because existence is one thing.
Yep. Yep. I agree. Ditto, ditto, ditto.
I know I'm preaching to the choir. I know. Sorry.
No,
Dear
no.
show, I'll get off my soapbox. Believe me, my viewers have heard all of this 1,000 times. And yet they keep coming back for more. I don't even know what it is.
Oh God, I love it. Oh man. So here we are.
Oh, let me ask you. The glass of water. The glass of water. As soon as you made commentary about that, it made me think the glass of water is not not there for the spirits to drink, my
No,
darling.
no, I know.
It is part of the pathway that they travel.
I know. She at
Yeah.
the end, it hadn't gone down, and I said, okay, now would you explain to me about she said, well, honey, they take energy from the water, and
Right.
I was like, oh my God! But again, that was in 1965. Nobody talked about energy. It's like,
No.
what? So I just thought the whole thing was crazy. I thought,
Yeah.
but here we are.
And yet here
100
we
years
are,
later. Yeah.
making sure that we are well hydrated. And it's one of the few things about Catholicism that I always found fascinating was the shedding of holy water, water that had been blessed by a priest. And then
Oh,
you dip your fingers in it and you do your, and then you go
oh,
and receive communion, but you have to have this contact with the holy
oh.
water first.
I
And I
didn't.
thought, wow, isn't this a fascinating ritual? And I was always obsessed with the smell of the incense in the church.
Okay.
And while I was in church, I didn't hear a damn thing. All I did was sit there and look at the beautiful candles burning and
Yeah.
the stained glass windows and
Yes.
the polished oak pews and
Yes.
the
Yes.
architecture and the statuary.
Yes.
And, I mean, to me, that was the beauty of church. I was not receiving the message. The message was not for me.
Yeah.
I could, I could literally, what's the word, memorize the doctrine and the dogma and spout it back as though I actually meant it.
Yep. Yep.
But
Yep.
it did not resonate. I did not connect with it.
You
I
know.
knew that there was a higher calling for me and a spiritual path, but that this wasn't it.
Mm-hmm.
Not that I have anything, everybody's free to worship whatever they want, however they want. That's great. Go for it.
Yep.
Faith and belief is kind of the jet fuel of the human consciousness.
Yeah.
And so I think it's important. Even atheists have a belief system. They believe there's no such thing as God.
True. Yeah. That's true.
So
Yeah.
it's to each their own.
Yes.
But, for me, I don't belong in 3D, and you certainly don't
No.
find this to be a comfort zone. I know that about you.
Oh my God. No. No. Mm-mm.
Yeah.
No.
We stay here as long as we have to
Yes.
to do what we have to do on this
That's
plane of
right.
action.
Yes.
But if you're cognizant of a way to get out of here, and I know you are,
Yeah.
you can blast on out pretty much
Right.
any time that you want at will and come back when you're needed. And I spend a lot of time in 5D, a lot. I have to.
Yeah.
3D is too oppressive for me.
Yeah.
It squashes my spirit.
I get it. Yeah. I get it. I spend a lot of time alone. It's
Me too.
really the only way I can.
Yeah.
God, I feel everything these days. And so,
Yeah.
people come to us and they want us to reassure them that the world is coming to an end. And so it's like, okay, well, I just have to pull back enough so that I can feel, I don't know, is it coming to an end? It's like, God, so much fear out there.
Yeah.
So much fear
That's the common denominator, and particularly heightened at this time.
yes, it is.
And has wreaked havoc with me emotionally.
Yeah.
Just the peril that Zaporizhia is in, the nuclear power plant in Ukraine.
Oh, yes.
Just that. If that was the only thing that was happening on the planet right now,
Yeah.
would have me in knots. And it does.
Okay.
Because I can't imagine not going back to Europe.
Mm-hmm.
I can't imagine not being able to go back to Scotland, not being able to ever go, without wearing a hazmat suit to one of the most extraordinary places on the entire planet.
Yeah.
And depending on how the wind blows, if this goes Chernobyl and then some,
Oh God. Oh God.
it's the end of life as we know it in the northern hemisphere.
Mhm. Yeah.
And everyone will
Oh,
need to move south. And you know what? All the oceans are the same body of water. All the air
mhm,
are the same molecules interacting and dancing together and
mhm.
creating the clouds and the thunderstorms. And it would just be a matter of hours
No.
before
No.
a disaster there would be a disaster here. And I can't, even in sleep, cannot escape the
Mhm,
worry
mhm.
about this.
Yeah, I get it.
And I'm really, really angry.
Yes.
Um, and that has never been my MO my
Okay.
whole life.
Mhm.
I have always been a lover of peace and kind of a diplomat of sorts. You know, I was always the one that patched up everything between everybody else. And okay, there's 1,000 different ways to handle this.
Yeah.
Let's pick the one that hurts the least for all involved. And, you know, let's go forward from there. And that's kind of been my role for, you know, decades of my life.
Mhm.
And I feel honestly, you know, I do a show called The World Awakening about light and love. And I feel as though in recent months that my light is dimming. And that terrifies me because how can I shed something into the world
Mhm.
with the brightness that is required for us to see clearly
Yeah.
if I can't see clearly myself
Right.
what the future holds?
Mhm.
And I am hanging on I'm tethered to it, but just
Mhm.
hanging on by a thread to hope for the future.
Yeah. It's
This is a scary time. This is legitimate fear
yeah.
that we are living in. Now, how do we get past this?
Oh God. Well, that's the $1,000,000 question.
Food for thought.
Well, really,
Just some food for thought.
it's just it's about absolutely being in the now. Oh my God. And that's discipline. That takes discipline to live in the now. But it's the smartest thing we can do. I mean, honey, really. God,
It's the healthiest thing we
I
can do.
know. It's the whole thing with this war is just
We said never again, and
yeah,
we didn't mean it.
we thought we meant it,
We thought we meant it. Uh,
you know,
But yeah, how can you say that, you know, not you particularly, but how can we say we thought we meant it
yeah.
when Putin and Russia still have a veto proof seat on the United Nations Security Council,
Mhm.
and Russia is responsible for the worst instability that this world
Mhm.
has felt
Yeah.
since the end of World War II.
You
Why
know,
do they have the privilege of having a veto power in the United Nations, and that no one has done anything about it? You know, in my opinion, it makes the United Nations irrelevant,
yeah, that's
no
true.
longer serving its purpose.
Yeah, true.
You know, so again, here we go with, you know, in our new age of enlightenment,
Yeah,
having to come to terms with what is obsolete,
yeah,
what is archaic,
yeah,
what no longer serves us,
yeah.
and
Well,
what do we do about it?
honey, it's like you were talking about earlier about the queen has now died, and now there's going to be a whole new deal. And what is it going to be like? And really, it's like we, everybody is just getting shaken up right now. And I don't know about you, but I would say this whole year,
Hmm.
when somebody asks me to give them a reading because they want to know what's coming in their future, my guides are like, we're not going to do it. We're
No,
not going to tell anybody because we have to watch and see what happens. I mean, and I've never had that before. I've always been
no.
able to see the future
I
for
mean,
people.
no, we are on the precipice.
Yeah,
We are.
Yeah.
and it can go either way.
Yeah.
And so that's why I don't call my lovely, wonderful producer and say, you know what, we're not really making any difference. I could do other things on my Friday nights besides a world awakening. What difference are we really making in the world? And then I get some blowback on that, and all of a sudden I'm being told by countless people that they watch the show and that it lifts them up, and that they wait from Friday till Friday to come and spend a couple of hours with me and my lovely, wonderful guests, so that they can think about something else for for a couple of hours, that they can go into a higher state of consciousness, that they can feel the love and feel the light and feel the healing and feel the spiritual growth happening to them for spending a couple of hours with us on Friday nights. And I know that I cannot abandon this endeavor because I don't know how far it reaches.
I know. Yeah.
That's the thing.
Yeah. You're right.
We don't know how far it goes.
No, we don't. No. But what we can do is just keep being us, keep being. I mean, there's a lot of good that's going on out there too.
There is.
There's a lot
of good.
Yeah,
that's going on out there.
A lot. And like the guides just keep saying to me, just get back to today, forget about tomorrow, forget about tomorrow. Yeah. And I agree 100%. It is so easy to jump forward. And
yes, and it is also a proclivity of human beings to project into the future and to dwell on the past.
Yeah.
And lose the now entirely. To forget to live in the moment, or as some would say, to practice the presence, to practice the presence of God consciousness in this moment in time. And this morning I was doing that. Mom and I went out onto the back deck, and it was a beautiful, cooler than usual morning in Georgia. And we sat there for about 20, 25 minutes and watched a spider build a web.
Oh.
And she was beautiful, and she was magnificent, and her web was flawless. And I took some photographs of her while she was doing it. And then something flew into her web, and we watched her devour this helpless creature that had just been caught in something that was so delicate and beautiful, with like little pearl drops of dew settling on it as she was building it in the early morning hours. And after we drank our coffee and we smoked our cigarettes and we watched our spider like build Charlotte's Web.
Yeah.
We both said to each other, wow, well, wasn't that special?
Yeah.
Wasn't that miraculous? I didn't think about anything but this over the whole time that it happened. And it was almost like it freed our minds to just be there in the moment, observing this magnificent function of nature.
Yes.
It works so perfectly, and not take in or worry about or even think about anything else. And I think that it behooves all of us to spend at least a few minutes a day out in as close to nature as we can get.
Yes.
And to look into the sky, look up, because that's where the real show is. And too many people have their face buried in one of these things all the time.
I know.
And, that's not teaching you anything. It might keep you informed, and it, might have a good grocery list, thrown in a text message now and then. But this isn't our reality.
No.
This is our reality. The cosmos is our reality. And what's going on up there. We are loved. We are cherished. We are being watched over. And one of the things that happened to me that changed this year irrevocably for me was on the morning of February 24th. I was sitting out on my front terrace, and I live right on Lake Apopka in Central Florida, in Orange County, Florida. It's a paradise. It's absolutely remarkably beautiful place to live.
Nice.
And I was just sitting out there. It was early. It was just first light, and looking up into the sky and just saying, for a couple of months, I had been just feeling this incredible anxiety, just incredible, debilitating anxiety.
Yikes.
I was rocking in my chair and just looking up into the sky. And I said, I know you're here. I know what the rules are. I know, but we need help. We need help right now. And, break the rules, rewrite the rules, do whatever you need to do, but get your asses down here and intervene on our behalf, because we are too stupid to live, and we're probably going to die because of it. And I'm very concerned about the future of humanity, and get down here now. And I was just, like threatening, just threatening them. Something's got to get their attention. And all of a sudden, I got the clearest message I have ever received in my entire life. And I received messages on practically a daily basis, not always, but usually.
Yeah.
The clearest I had ever received, in a voice I did not recognize, that was certainly not my own.
Okay.
And I heard through both of my ears and my third eye simultaneously. If we are here, this planet and its people are in crisis. We are here.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
We are here.
Mm-hmm. I believe it.
And then I realized that I'm part of the we, and so are you.
Ah, uh-huh. I agree. Totally agree.
Yep.
Yeah. That's why we're here. To try to lift it up. Lift up the heaviness.
Change the vibration.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just ride that wavelength all the way to paradise. Because we can.
Yeah.
We can save this planet.
Yeah. I agree.
We can save ourselves from ourselves.
Yeah, we can. It just takes work. Yeah. And unfortunately, we're human beings, and we don't really get on a path until we pretty much come to our knees. So people have to go through a lot of shit to get going, to find real happiness. It's really unfortunate. But I mean, it's like it's all set up for us right now to either, to choose which path do we want. Do we want to go down a path where we trust the guidance, where we even, I'm a huge believer in intuition, and that's my gig right now. Is I just want everybody to listen intuitively, to know that voice inside. And God, if they can do that, if they can do that.
But it takes effort.
It does. Oh my God!
And it takes not only self-discipline but commitment.
Oh, I know.
And I constantly remind people that thoughts are things, and that if you want to do your part every day, in every moment, then reprogram your computer, reprogram it to put into the forefront of your consciousness precisely what you want this world to look like. A world of peace and prosperity and equity and growth and beauty, and to salvage what we can and begin to undo and reverse the damage that we've done. And this requires a level of commitment that most people simply will not take that leap to make.
I know.
Because there's so much involved. It's overwhelming. It's just easier to go day by day by day and to live life so repetitively, so routinely, so structurally compromised. But, in our comfort zone of our little 3D egg, our little shell.
Yeah.
and we have to peck our way out, and they can't do it for us.
No, they
They
can't.
are here because we are in crisis,
Yeah.
but they can't do it for us. We have to do it ourselves. Have I set something else off in your house? What is that noise?
I don't even know what it is.
This happens a lot with me.
Just stay there. Just behave yourself, for God's sakes, girl.
Sorry.
See how the garage is doing. Okay, the lights are off. Okay. Oh, that's weird. All right. Oh no, I can't talk to her right now. It's somebody that never calls me. That's weird. Oh, Southern California. I was just going to ask you if you've heard about how Southern California is doing, and there's a thing here. Okay. The name of the hurricane is K.
Okay.
K drenches Southern California from afar. Parts are underwater already, with more rain forecast from, I don't know where, from the ocean, I suppose. So parts are already underwater?
Yes. Yeah. There's already been massive mudslides and rock slides and highways that have just been wiped out, and so much damage done from the fires that, there's no way for, we did this. We did
What
this.
the hell? Oh, God. Honey, what the hell is going on?
Oh no, wait for the earthquake. That's coming.
Oh, God. Oh, God.
Well, we got a hurricane just off the East Coast that's going to impact every single state on the East
right
Coast.
now? There's one
Earl,
going on.
yeah. Yeah, and it's not going to actually make landfall on land. It's just so powerful that it's churning the ocean up and decimating the beaches right when all the little turtles need to go off, and it's we did this. We did this. The manatees are dying in droves in Florida. Why? Because some head up their ass politicians decided to let some industrial complex start pouring their toxic waste into our water systems. Or no doubt a kickback. Greed and fear are the worst combinations of human endeavors and emotions that have ever, decided to rear their ugly heads simultaneously on this planet. And this is the paradigm shift. And when people ask me what that means, I tell them that it is that time in human evolution where nothing is ever the same, where a series of events occurs that literally changes the way that we interpret everything. It alters human perspective. It literally alters the planet. And COVID is a prime example of that. I knew when COVID hit, I said, oh my God, this is it. This is the paradigm shift. And, the last time we had a paradigm shift, which was a couple of thousand years ago, it literally altered time, because until the death of Jesus Christ, time was kept differently. And then it was rearranged to reflect his birth and death. So it was BC and then AD. And now it's before COVID and after Delta.
Yeah, true.
It has all, risen to the surface, and what is toxic in humanity is racing to the surface to be cleansed by the light. So every time I feel like my light is dimming, I have to remind myself to be the beacon, to be the light that I seek.
Yeah.
Because I have to be part of the solution, because otherwise I'm part of the problem.
Yeah, that's right, honey. Yeah, we get a choice every day, which
every single day.
Go down all the time. Yeah, it's just so interesting to me. You know what? I heard somebody say, what we have to do is all of us have to learn how to detach emotionally so we can observe what's going on, okay, and and ask them to show us the higher perspective of everything. Okay, what is the highest perspective right now? What the hell is going on? And but we have to, you know what? We have to pull back our fear in order to hear what
Right.
they're saying. And I just, God, I mean, I just think it's so interesting. If we really just kind of step back and go, wow, look at what Earth is going through right now. Wow, if we can look at it from like the Palladians' perspective and just go, wow, look at those folks. Wow, they're really going through some changes down there. And if we can look at it from a higher perspective and get the fear out of there, that's what's up, I think, right now is, it's like, it seems to me like people don't even know how much fear they live with.
Mm-hmm.
It's so ingrained in
It's
everything.
pervasive. It's
Yeah.
omnipresent.
Yeah.
Yep.
And it's like we were saying just even 5 minutes ago, it's about learning to detach, get that fear out of there so that we can see things. On my website, I started a column called The Higher Perspective, and where I encourage people to send me the crap that they're going through in their life right now. And okay, let's try to look at it from a higher perspective. And I was guided to do it. And yet, right now, I am doing so much to promote the book. And also, my taxes are absolutely driving me nuts. And so I haven't been able to get to it. But that's what I want to do is keep talking to people about, okay, let's look at this from the highest perspective. What's the good that's come out of it? Because, honey, I mean, a great example is the house that you grew up in was crazy town, but look at how cool you are. Look at how wise you are. Look at how much you know. And
you're a pretty cool chick too.
But
you're on my really cool chick show.
Right. Bill, too bad you can't be a crazy chick with us. Bill, are you there? Bill?
Yeah, Bill's there. Yeah, Bill's listening to every single word of this. Bill, by the time I'm done with my show every week, Bill really just wants to be a woman. And in this day and age, that can be arranged.
Well, it can, but I encourage Bill to remain Bill because I think he'd be one ugly woman. I'm just saying, Bill, you're a good-looking man, so let's just leave it as it is, okay? And he's giving me this little sign.
I know, yeah, and believe me, he's really, really comfortable and familiar with his parts. He doesn't want to swap anything out.
No, I don't. No, he shouldn't even engage in thinking about it. So just stay the cute guy that you are, Bill.
Yeah. He is a wicked feminist, though, and that's what I mean. He's so into promoting what he thinks of us all as goddesses. He does. He thinks of us as, we are the way, we are the light, we are the goddesses that have come to, rescue all of humanity.
Yeah. God bless you, Bill. God bless you. That's all
it is, and he's like, yeah, take over the world. Oh, dear God, we have fucked it up so royally. Just take over.
We're trying, Bill. We're trying.
We're on it.
Snail movement at a time. Oh my God. Anyway, yeah, I'm going to work on this column because I want to keep trying to work on people. Come on, let's just raise up here. Let's get up as high as we possibly can. And now we're going to look at the situation. And I mean, we can say, look at Andrea, like I just said, you grew up in Crazy Town, and look at how wise you are, honey. See all the good that came out of that?
Yes, because childhood trauma, the
Yes.
gift that keeps on giving. If you put the work into processing
No,
Crazy Town
Yeah.
and you understand, I mean, I had the privilege of knowing my entire family is a perfectly normal family.
Yes.
And I saw everything that had to happen exactly the way that it did
Yes.
for us to even end up in that farmhouse, which I often describe as a portal cleverly disguised as a farmhouse.
Okay.
But it is an interdimensional, multi-dimensional, extra-dimensional portal. And that taught me what I needed to know and everything
Yep.
that I needed to know about life and death and the afterlife.
Yep.
And for myself, it has all resolved to something that is actually rather simplistic. I see life as seeking the answers to two imperative questions. Is there something beyond our mortal existence?
Okay.
I know that there is.
Okay. Yeah.
Because of my experiences.
Yes.
Whether they were traumatic or they were hysterically funny or they were shocking beyond belief.
Yes.
I processed it, put the time and the energy in over decades of my life to look at it big picture.
Yeah.
And the second question is, are we alone in the universe? Oh, hell no, we are not. And this isn't wishful thinking. This isn't
right.
A faith or belief system. This is knowledge. Because of what I have experienced, I am a 50-year contactee. And I think longer than that. I just didn't know what I was contacting. When I was young, I didn't know.
That's a good one. I like that.
But I had my first conscious contact with extraterrestrials, what I refer to as the galactic family, when I was 13 years old.
Okay.
And that was my personal paradigm shift. It changed everything. It altered my trajectory. I ended up going to college and double majoring in English literature and philosophy.
Okay.
I needed to pursue philosophy and learn what the great thinkers of the world had been thinking for millennia.
Okay.
In order to put those pieces together. And yet, as a student of philosophy with a degree in that subject that spent countless hours debating free will versus determinism,
okay,
I, again, contrary, believe in free will, but I also believe in determinism. I believe that it was my family's destiny to live in that farm.
Yes.
Live at that farm for a decade, and then 30 plus years later, when the world was ready to tell the story.
Right, honey. I agree. Totally agree.
So, we're not on, I'm sure, in the angelic realm where time is irrelevant, it's non-existent.
Yeah.
I'm sure that they have told you that the more that we invest too much of our attention into our personal timeline on this earth, again, being brought up by the most powerful woman that has ever lived in my lifetime, Queen Elizabeth II, has gone on. And, her power could have just expanded exponentially for all we know. She's off doing something equally important, if not more so, and might actually have more influence from where she is now than while she was here.
Yeah, true.
So that it is, I really do believe that part of the paradigm shift is the rise of the sacred feminine energy. And you are the embodiment of that. You are the personification of it. I truly do admire you. You might have gotten the impression that I admire you.
That's so sweet of you. God dang it. Wow. Thank you. Oh, gosh. Yeah, thinking about the Queen today. God, I wonder what today is like for her on the other side.
She's hanging with Phil.
You
You
got
know, they're getting their last dance in and their first one in the new. Yeah, I mean, that woman was devoted to that man, and vice versa.
it.
You know,
I
it was a
know.
perfect love story in a realm. You know, the monarchy is not noted for great love stories that didn't require massive upheaval and divorces and divorcees and
Yeah,
I mean they have quite the history
yeah,
of I have to marry this one to create
yeah,
heirs, but I'm in love with
yes,
that one. I mean
yes,
it
yes.
just goes on and on and on. The intrigue and the yeah, all of that.
I
Yeah,
know.
we think we have dysfunctional families, honey. They got it
I'm
all
sure.
over us.
Yeah, I'm sure.
But
Yeah.
I don't mean to make light of it. I know that they are all suffering with the loss of their mother and grandmother
Ah,
and great grandmother
um,
right now, and I understand that completely. But the thing is that we are all one big, fat,
yeah.
dysfunctional family.
Yeah.
We are. You tell me, you name one family that's not fucked up. You name one family that you know of that doesn't have at least one member that seems to have been born to create upheaval in the family structure.
Yeah. No, I can't
No,
do that.
not one. And I
Oh,
know a shitload of people.
yeah, so do I.
Not
Yep.
one.
No, I don't think I've ever met. No, no, never, never.
No,
No.
no,
But we didn't come here to have these perfect little lives.
no, we didn't. And the tests
I know.
precede the lessons
Yeah, I know it.
in soul school, and
Yeah,
that's what
I
we're here to grow is our soul. And I think and I don't mean to speak like I'm the world's leading authority on this is all my opinion, and everybody is free. I'm not here to convince anybody of anything, and I know you are not either.
no, no.
But I have I've had some experiences with the angelic realm, and I at first I used to believe in angels just because I liked the idea, and then I really realized they're a race of extraterrestrials.
Mm.
I used to think that fairies were nice folklore, and those Irish people, it must have been the whiskey that
Yeah,
created the
I'm sure
fairies.
that was it. Yeah.
Until I met two fairies
Okay.
and realized that they are extraterrestrials. So there's so much that we don't know.
I know.
Um, One of my favorite quotations is
Oh,
the safest assumption that we can make is that we know nothing compared with what there is to know.
true. Yeah, we do. Yeah, nothing. Nothing.
So
Well, we know something. We know
we're
this much.
learning.
We know this much.
Yeah, we
Honey,
know
the
this
first
much.
time, oh my God, the first time I ever saw a fairy, I, I,
They're not pretty.
ah,
I'm sorry, but Tinkerbell, they are
no,
not
they're not
pretty.
Tinkerbell. No. And I said, what the hell was that?
No.
And one of my guides said that was a fairy. And I went, oh my God, because I'd never seen one before. But
Mhm.
I was really shocked when I saw one. Like, my God, you guys really do exist. But oh, he would, I can't even describe it.
I know.
Yeah, yeah. So,
I know.
okay, go back to when you were 13. Tell me about your close encounter.
Oh, I saw an entire flotilla of ships pass over the farmhouse. I don't know why I was standing in the front yard
Oh,
alone. I'm the eldest of five girls. I was always in charge of my four younger siblings.
okay,
And why I was standing outside alone, I will never be able to explain. But I
okay.
saw an entire flotilla of vessels pass over the farmhouse. It altered the color of the sky, it blocked out the setting sun, and it silenced the birds.
Oh,
And 45 years later, I found out that I was one of approximately 60 million people whose head it went directly over the top of, and there were 10,000 reports worldwide. It came down from just east of Nova Scotia, showed up on the radar, went down to southern Maryland, hopped the pond, made a tour of Western Europe. And then when the Royal Air Force scrambled their fighter jets to go after it, it disappeared in a split second over the Arctic Circle. 45 years later, I'm sitting in the back row getting ready to lecture next at Star Work Symposium.
Okay.
And trying to just, prepare, get, ready and together for this lecture in front of this group of, I'm telling you, more degrees than a thermometer in that room. I'm telling you, I mean, they're like, physicists and you name the doctoral specialty, they're there. So I felt like the stupid kid on the block. But I'm just sitting there, just sobbing, like losing it. Had to remove myself from the conference room to go to the ladies' room to clean up and reapply my makeup because I thought I was the only one that ever saw that.
Okay, so were they talking about it, and that's how you realized?
Yep.
Oh.
Yep. And then when I saw that, when this happened, coincided exactly at the time that it happened in my life, I knew that it was the same flotilla. And the description of it was identical to what I had seen, which was a super massively large center ship that looked like a city that had been turned upside down, that had the protrusions of what looked like buildings, obelisks coming off the bottom of it. But then it was accompanied by 12 6 matching pairs of vessels that were escorting it in complete silence. And they were all in geometric forms. And then the next thing that I remember is being in the kitchen and pulling the lace curtains aside and looking up to see if it was still over the farm. Yeah. And my mother asking me what I was looking for and not being able to answer her.
Okay.
Because I did not, at that tender age, even understand what I had just witnessed.
Yeah, of course.
So a couple of months later, as we were outside watching 3 of them hop, skipping, and jumping all over, it looked like they were measuring, like doing a grid of the earth. And my mom and I saw them while we were doing dishes in the kitchen, in the pantry. And then for some reason, the whole rest of my family came out. And it wasn't because we told them to. It was like they all just gravitated outside from the parlor on the other end of the house where they were watching The Wonderful World of Disney. It was a Sunday night. And they all came outside, and all 7 of us stood on the knoll overlooking the property and watched these 3 vessels just zip over massive, massive distances in the cosmos. And then when they were done doing whatever they were doing, and it looked like this incredible dance, like it was all coordinated, and then all 3 of them came together, and it's as if they just had a brief conversation, like, are we done here? Yeah, we're done here. And then they just all took off in different directions, just in a fraction of a second. They were all gone off in a different direction. And I just remember my mother turning to my father and saying, Roger, stars don't do that. Not even shooting stars do that.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah. And we've all been experiencers. Everybody in my family has had experiences.
Okay.
And I'm absolutely quite certain that my parents are hybrids. And I feel certain that I am because I have all 3 markers. I'm the firstborn. I have blue eyes, usually blue or green eyes, and the Rh negative blood factor, which is exceedingly rare.
Oh,
and those are the 3 markers for hybrids. And if you have all 3 of them together, don't even bother having your pie chart done at ancestry.com because you're going to get a big ass chunk of it that comes back and says other.
Other. Oh, interesting. Wow.
Yeah. And now I know why I'm here. And now I know where I come from. And
Okay.
now I know what I'm supposed to do.
Okay. Oh,
Even when I feel reluctant to go forward, I
yeah.
get up every morning to take care of the Princess Peanut Buttercup and
Okay.
meet all of her needs.
Okay.
My little rescue dog.
Good. Good.
She's
Where is the little peanut?
I don't know where the Peanut is. I think she's in with her Grammy and her Sammy, her boyfriend.
Right.
Sammy.
Oh, she's got a boyfriend.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
my sister April passed away. My baby sister passed away in 2017, very suddenly and tragically. And my mother and my sister Christine inherited her little dog, Sammy.
Oh, okay.
And so the day that I saved Peanut, Sammy embraced her and loved her and gave her her first toy. And they've
Oh,
been thick as thieves ever since.
oh God.
So they're probably sleeping together. And I know that sounds dirty, but it's really
No, it
not
doesn't.
anything,
It
because
doesn't. Oh,
they're sleeping together with my mother, and they're both spayed and neutered. So they have a platonic relationship, which I do
oh,
think probably works best
yeah.
in general. Yeah, it doesn't do a lot for the world population.
No,
Although maybe it's a good idea. I think we
maybe.
might
Yeah.
have a few million too many. And, Dolores Cannon, I do hop from one subject to another. You might have noticed.
Fine. I can follow. I can follow. That's good. Go for it.
Dolores Cannon, before she passed, wrote about the paradigm shift and the shredding of old and new earth, and how there would come a time soon where everything would change. Nothing would ever be the same on the other side of it. And that the lower vibration beings would leave the planet. And I think that we're in the midst of that, so that the ones that remain
Yeah.
can save it.
Okay.
And that it's like what she described as the shredding of old and new earth.
Okay.
Like there will be another earth and another dimension that becomes like kindergarten. Like everybody there has to start fresh and
Oh,
learn their way through. And then there was going to be the earth where the highly evolved, spiritually attuned individuals that remain behind, that are able scientifically and in every other way to devise what is necessary for us to save the planet,
okay.
will do so.
Okay.
And I'm starting to think that maybe she had that right.
Yeah.
And Dolores Cannon was a hypnotherapist
Okay.
who worked for decades on people doing past life regressions.
Yeah.
And in I think like the last 10 or 15 years of her life, people from all over the world were coming to her saying that they felt that they had been off planet, that they had been given messages. Now, none of these people knew each other. None of them did. But
Okay.
they were giving her drawings and describing their ventures off planet, where they were downloaded with information and then brought back so that they could help save the world. And so all of the emphasis of at least the last decade of her life was spent on what I don't like the word abductees. It's got such an awfully negative connotation.
Yeah.
But those of us that have been taken
Okay.
and have been informed,
Okay.
and then are placed gently back where we need to be
Okay.
to do that good work. Do you get what we in this field of research and what is now known as ufology? I was a ufologist many, many decades before that was even a word.
I have never even heard of that word.
Yeah, but do you ever get what we refer to as downloads, where you get
Yeah.
high frequency sounds,
Yeah.
sometimes, and sometimes very low frequency sounds, and they just seem to come in from nowhere and everywhere, and you don't understand what you're being told, but you stop and you pause and you let the incoming do its thing, knowing that it's being stored somewhere in your consciousness and that it will come to the surface when it's necessary.
Yes.
Okay, good.
Yes.
Well, hello, sister. You're a star, sister. I knew it. I just knew that. I knew it. It's
Boy,
a wonderful thing.
our listeners are getting just a head full of information tonight. Holy
Yeah, they
smokes.
are. Oh, they're used to it. Oh my
Yeah, I'm
God.
sure they are. I'm
You
sure.
know, I have the most sophisticated, most brilliant, most sensitive, most intuitive, most extraordinarily pure of heart viewership of anyone
Oh,
on the internet, or what my friend Erin calls the interwebs. Um, I love that. I love it. No, really, they are so cool. They are so. Oh, hey, Christy. They are really, really, and Terry Shayna. She's really. I mean, Bill could not put all of them up, with
no.
their
Yeah.
comments. It wouldn't be even possible. But we are birds of a feather, and we gather together, and it's like we're at thousands of different points, and we all have our own laser beam, and they all come together in one place, and then they shoot out together, and it is just a compressed, compacted, incredibly powerful beam of light
Yes.
that we put out together.
Yes.
And when I feel a little dim or my energy is a little low, they don't allow it. They
No.
lift me up. They
Oh,
bring me back.
wow.
We're so codependent. I just
Oh
love
dear.
them. I love them to pieces. They're
That's
so
so
great.
sweet. They call you Annie. I love that.
Yeah,
Aw,
yeah,
does your
I
mama call
know.
you that? Does your,
Absolutely. My
does
friends
your,
and my family call me Annie.
oh, that's so
Yeah.
sweet. I thought Bill said Annie when I first came on. I thought, no, maybe he said Andy. That didn't sound right either. So, oh, I love that name,
Yeah.
Annie. Annie. I
Yeah.
love.
I'm like the little redhead on the
Yeah, there you
screen.
go. Yeah,
Yeah. The sun will come out tomorrow. It better come out
yeah,
tomorrow.
better.
I'll kick its ass if it doesn't, because I'll tell you what. Ugh,
I know.
rained
Sweet.
all day today.
Did it?
Yeah. Pretty
Okay,
much.
you're down in Georgia. Yeah,
Georgia.
it was cloudy today and it was like 60 degrees and it was definitely fall in the air. Wow. But I
Mhm.
love fall. I love it.
I do too. It's so magnificently
I know.
beautiful, isn't it?
Yes.
And even though I live in the South now, I travel so much that I don't feel cheated.
Oh, good.
I mean, I'll be back up in Rhode Island. I've been to Rhode Island, I don't know how many times this year. But I'm doing like a 4-day event at my childhood home over Halloween. And so
Oh,
I will be sated with the smell of rotting leaves, which I find intoxicating. I do. And,
yeah, of course.
colors are at their brightest. And you are both lucky I couldn't find a wig in that. Bill's coming to see the farmhouse for the first time
Oh, so
over
honey, you
Halloween.
still have the farmhouse?
I don't. We sold it in 1980.
Okay.
But recently, within the last few months, the most extraordinary, most remarkable woman, a powerhouse of a woman.
Yeah.
Her name is Jacqueline Nunez, and she bought the farm. And she's decided that it is a place that is so special and
Okay.
so spiritual, and so it's almost like it possesses connective tissue
Okay.
between the other side and
Okay.
us.
Okay.
And
Yep.
so many people are find it such an incredibly enlightening, illuminating experience to go there. That she doesn't want it to be about fear and loathing and jump scares and stuff like that. Yeah, some crazy shit happened in that house. Yes, it did.
Yeah.
But it also was a place where we learned
Yeah.
that there's something beyond our mortal existence. And gee, what a kind of valuable thing to know.
Yes. That's right.
And we made peace with the spirits. And my mother asked very politely, asked permission for them to let us go. And they did. It
Okay.
took a while, but they did.
Okay.
I was there a few weeks ago, and the spirits came through, and they were all trying to talk at once. And they said through my friends Cody and Satori, who have a spiritual connection thing that I can't believe I lived long enough to see what they are capable of.
Okay.
And the spirits speak through them when they touch each other. And there's knocking sounds that you decipher through the use of the alphabet and numbers.
Okay.
And they identified that I was there in the house.
Okay.
And then they said that they had a message for me. And that message was 4 words: we miss your family.
Oh, how
And it was
sweet.
because we showed them respect and
Okay.
deference and reverence and understood and acknowledged that it was their house first.
Got
And
it.
that they were there, regardless of the circumstances, to teach us more than we knew when we got there.
Got it. Got it.
Yes, that's
Got
right,
it.
Sandra. We certainly did.
So, honey, do people come and stay there? What's this? What is the situation of the farmhouse now?
Well, Jacqueline is doing tours. She
Oh,
allows investigations to be
okay.
done there.
Okay.
She's treating it with reverence and respect for the history of the
Okay.
home. It is an original colonial home. It was completed as it stands now 40 years before the signing of the Declaration of Independence.
Okay.
So it's an old one. And a very fascinating place to grow up in, although I will never live there again because I don't want to freeze to death in the winter or suffer a heat stroke in the summer.
No.
There's nothing comfortable about this house.
Okay.
Nothing.
Okay.
A few months out of the year, it's livable, and that's about it. But she loves it, and it has been, and she was drawn to it. She was called to it. She knew the moment she laid eyes on the house when it went up for sale that she was going to own it, and she knew exactly what she was going to do with it.
Okay.
And she's opening it to the world with the most loving arms. She's an incredible person. I really truly hope that you have an opportunity with your great gifts to come there and to experience the energy field that I grew up in.
Okay.
So if you think I'm a weirdo, there's a reason. I grew up in, and by the way, that word is the ultimate compliment. It truly is. But when you realize the conditions in the environment and what I was exposed to, as well as every other member of my family, and for the 10 years that we lived there, it fundamentally altered every single one of so when you were talking about your dysfunctional family and a spirit guide playing the drums through your brother, I was like, wow, that's cool.
Yeah.
Wow.
I know.
It's really cool. It's kind of like the spirit that used to sit in the rocking chair when I would play guitar. And if I stopped playing, she would stop rocking, and then when I started playing again, she would rock again. What is, paranormal becomes normal. What is supernatural becomes absolutely natural. If it exists in our natural world, then it is natural.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
We need to stop drawing that line of demarcation between this and that, because if everything is energy and everything is consciousness, then all existence is one thing. So we have to kind of shift the way that we think about it, and we need to look at our old reality with new eyes.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
And that's what you do, I think, most effectively, is that you communicate that to people in a way. You're just so warm and loving and so highly approachable and disarming that there's no way that anyone would come away unenlightened from an encounter with you.
Good. Thank you, honey. Thank you. A long time ago, I sat down. It was kind of like a surrender when I was 29. And I said to him, okay, I give in. I give in. I'll do it. But I said, I want to live a normal life. I want to dress like a normal person. I want to live in a normal house. I want to drive a normal car. I want to seem normal to everybody. And I said, now, if I can do that, then I'll do this work. But I'm not going to be what people expect. And I can't even tell you how many times, like maybe somebody comes to the house, like a newspaper or something. They're going to interview me, and I answer the door, and they say, "Yeah, we're here to see Echo Bodine." And I say, "I am Echo Bodine," and they go, "Whoa, you are nothing like what we expected."
Very much like the cycle that what you went to as a child.
Yeah.
She was nothing like what you expected, which is part of the lesson, it's that, perhaps we should not hold so dearly our expectations of others.
I know, honey. I know. Thank you, Sandra. What a nice thing to say.
Yes.
Yeah, it's really important to me because when people see, oh, wow, you're just a regular person, they just kind of relax. It's like they just relax, like, okay, this is all right. And I think that's really important part of it. Now, there's lots of psychics out there that look really spooky and crazy and, out of this world.
Yeah, but that's with a lot of them, as well as I do, that's their shtick.
I know.
They're just trying to look the part.
Look the part. Yep. And there's lots of people that are looking for psychics like that look the part. They want to go to that kind of experience. And I'm just glad Mrs. Olson was so normal. The only thing is she had a big lump on her third eye. And I remember thinking, oh my God, am I going to get a lump?
Am I going to get a lump? Yeah.
I don't have a lump. So I thought I better get some bangs. And I don't think I had bangs back then. But I mean, just the things you think about. Isn't it funny?
But we were kids, Echo. We were kids when this shit hit us upside the head with a baseball bat.
We were. I know.
I mean, it was, I didn't have any negative altercations with spirit growing up. But there were incidents that some of which were life-threatening in our family home.
Yeah, I get it.
Not stuff to take lightly. It was a very serious situation.
Yeah.
And I can't say if a spirit can be so powerful that it can literally claim a human life.
Yes, I agree.
Hold on, I just got. My sister's a Mac head. Did I mention that? I just got an
and oh God, I wouldn't know what to do.
Oh my God. Give me Android system. Did you know that's my nickname? Android is my nickname.
I did not.
My initials are APP, like app. And my sisters are like, you're not completely human. You're not completely human, right? You know that, right? You know that, right? I'm like, back off, chick. Really? Are you kidding me? I'm trying to look the part.
Yeah.
My hair, I put some earrings in. I've got a dinky dog. I don't know what else I drive a normal older Dodge Journey. I don't know what you expect from me.
See? Yeah. See? Nobody. If you and I were walking down the street. If you and I were walking down the street, people would never know. They would just think we were high school buddies hanging out, talking about. What would we talk about if we weren't who we are today?
Well, we're both smart cookies, and we'd probably find 1,000 things to discuss, but they wouldn't be nearly as interesting. They'd probably be mundane. Now, this is interesting stuff to talk about. I mean, big stuff, like, the future of Earth in the cosmic scheme of things. Like, are we going to blow ourselves up or not? Are we going to grow up fast enough or not?
I know.
I mean, these are the big questions.
Yeah, I know. Big questions. So I have to plug the book.
Yes,
Okay.
please.
I
What
have
do you mean 3 minutes left?
3
5
minutes.
minutes left?
I have
What
to-
is he talking about? I'm sorry. Could you please explain to my producer that time is irrelevant, that it
I-
doesn't really exist?
he no, that's not his job. No,
I guess.
he has
All
to
right.
count. Somebody has to count time, and that has to be Bill's job.
Okay, he can be the time counter. Okay, tell everybody where they can get your book.
They
How
can-
to Live a Happily Ever Afterlife.
Yes. They can get it anywhere. It's on Amazon, Barnes and Noble, other places, and the what's the word I want? The idea behind the book is that whenever Michael and I have gone out on a ghost busting job, we first locate the ghost, we walk up to them, we ask them, what is your name and why are you here? And so the book is based on the 6 most common reasons why ghosts, souls, choose to be earthbound.
Yeah, to remain so, yes.
And they actually have, this was my brother Michael's idea. They have little exercises at the end of the chapter to help the listener so that they break these patterns that they have that might keep them earthbound.
Mhm.
So it's a happy book. It's a funny book. It's got serious stories in there about ghosts. And one story that I forgot to put in the book, my memory just isn't what it used to be, was
Oh, that's just the first story of the next book.
my memory isn't what it used to be, or about the guy who lives, the ghost who lives in his 56 Chevy because he doesn't like change. Honest to God.
Okay, and so what you tell him is that the only thing constant in the universe is change. Move on. There are better cars.
I went in the house and I said to his wife, do you know that there is a man that lives in that Chevy? And she goes, yeah, it's my husband. He's been there ever since he died. She said, we just let him be there. He was so worried about dying and not being with his car. And she said, so none of us are surprised that he's living in the car. And so when I went back out and I talked to him and I said, really, why don't you move? No. And he sat in the back seat of his car. He said, this is my life. I love it here.
Yeah. Well, that happily ever after. Well, I will definitely be hitting you up for a signed copy of this.
I'll send you one. Yeah. Just send me your, have Bill send me.
Now that we finally officially met, we'll talk, we'll be in touch.
We will.
And you will definitely be back on this show because my viewers have loved every minute of it. And I thank you so much for joining us. And so tonight of all nights, somebody said, it's so nice to see me smiling tonight. That's real. And this was so good for me to have you and to be in your presence and to be in your light tonight. And so I will remind all of our viewers to keep the faith and be the light you seek.
Yes.
And I love you all.
Honey, let's send out a sweet thank you to our sister Greta for making this happen. God bless you, Greta.
God bless you, Greta. We adore you.
Thank you, Greta.
And we'll be in touch. And next time we'll bring her on because she's a laugh riot.
Oh, fun.
Okay. So all 3 of us.
All right. Thank you.
Thank
you. Bye, darlings. Mwah. Bye, Bill. Thank you, Bill.
Thank you, darling.